Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.
Hello and welcome. It's Enterprise Morning on Enterprise TV. I am Henry Igwibike. We will move quickly to take the newspaper headlines and then serve you what our main conversation is for the morning. And with me, as usual, in the studios is Mr. Cyril Abaku. He is a public affairs analyst and a communicator. Mr. Cyril, thank you for joining us this morning.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Good. So without much, let's move straight to what our newspapers have for this morning. And started off on this clean note is on The Guardian. And the big story there says Nigerians groan as basic needs exceed real income. And it gets to, when we get to break it down here, it says 90% plus Nigerians cannot afford health diet. And it further said 31.52% Nigerian food inflation. And if we get to equally still break it down here, where it says food commodity, 50 kg rice, as at May 2023 was 27,000, but December 2023, it is today sitting at 60,000 naira. A basket of fresh tomatoes in May of 2023 was 40,000 naira. December 2023, it is 100,000 naira. We have all the list of commodities and their cost as at May and what it stands today in December of the same year, 2023. And on the downsleep of the newspaper, we have corruption. Illicit financial flow cost Nigeria orders $88.6 billion yearly. And also we have still on the same newspaper, Nigeria in darkness as national grid collapses again. Utilizing debt for nature swap to spur climate action investment. And also on the downsleep, we equally have Rivers lawmakers defection. PDP LP demand fresh poll as Fubara summons emergency ESCO meeting. On the top sleep of the same newspaper, we have Osimhen, Oshoala, Nadozie win as Nigeria sweeps CAF awards. Mr. Cyril, let's go to the big story on the Guardian newspaper, which says, Yuletide, Nigerians groan as basic needs exceed real income. And it further, we had the opportunity of having some of these things, broken down into beats so we can have a clearer understanding of why Nigerians are not happy. Now tell us, do you think this is coming too early?
No, it's not.
So which means we had expected this before May 29th, 2023, coming from Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
But economics is largely a science.
Okay.
That's why it's called a social science. It's qualified as a social, but it's science. It's a behavioral science because you can largely tell it's human actors that make the economy. It's not the resources. The issue of tomato selling for this amount, rice selling for this amount, and so on. There's human agency behind them. So we ask ourselves, why are human agencies acting the way they're acting, resulting in the way things have become?
Okay.
If you can study man, you can study what he's doing. Man is the science behind what's going on. So it's a science. It's even a miracle that things have not gotten worse than they have gotten.
Really? Why would you say so?
Well, people talked about Buharinomics in President Buhari's time. And I said I didn't know what that even meant because it was a non-existent
A postulate.
as far as I was concerned. Now we're hearing Tinubunomics, but the question is, what is Tinubunomics?
Okay.
If I thought such a term, those who have coined it, I don't know what's Tinubunomics? Let me tell you what I know. Subsidy is gone, but we're paying subsidy again. You see, when subsidy was initially taken off, places like Benin Republic, Cameroon, and these other places ran into serious problems.
Yes.
As I speak with you today, smuggling of petrol to Benin is at an all-time high.
Okay.
at our own expense. Now, everything that happens in this country falls on the back of government spending. So when government says it has withdrawn its support or spending in a particular sector,
Yeah.
you can expect that the people are going to be the ones who bear the brunt of the matter. But for me, I'm not particularly unhappy or displeased. The reason is very simple to understand. The reason is that, like I said at the beginning, every problem we're facing today is man-made and can be man-solved.
Okay.
So, for example, the tomato price going up is not because there's not enough tomato. There's enough tomato to go around in Nigeria.
Okay.
With enough to spare. There's enough rice to go around in Nigeria with enough to spare. There's enough. What you like are linkages.
When you talk about linkages, what do you mean?
For example, what stops us from going to meet Dangote or Bua and say, guys, we're going to give you tax holiday. Gather cement bags. Go to Benue State, for example, Benue, Adamawa, a place like Newman, and tar the roads with concrete.
Okay.
From Benue to God knows where. So that these farmers who Boko rice, for example, can feed Nigeria. Farmers who have, when they've harvested, instead of those things wasting in those areas, there's transport that can help us convey them from far-flung parts of Nigeria to other parts of the country. The reason why, do you think this, when they say price of tomato basket is 40,000, is that much it is being sold in Adamawa? They are giving price of Lagos, Port Harcourt, and some other southern states, because there are parts of Nigeria where they produce tomatoes and tomatoes are rotting.
So would you blame it solely on infrastructural deficit like roads, or is it a factor of the economy not being robust? There's no money, there's no liquidity in the economy.
Now, something happens. When you talk about economic prosperity, inflation, there is not only one way to address it or to achieve it. Even when there is you call it infrastructure deficit, okay? But the infrastructure deficit is not the main problem. Farmers are farming,
okay,
and they have produce.
Yeah.
Is that okay? If we're bothered about inflation because government has taken away its subsidies in,
Yes.
But if we have good infrastructure, we can still afford food, even when government has taken, because infrastructure is supposed to be a cushion.
Okay.
So, where one thing has been taken off, you could have a replacement strategy that still helps common Nigerians to be able to access whatever it is. So, for example, they take no subsidy, and we can't afford, and transport costs have gone
definitely
have gone high.
Yeah.
If cars were produced in Nigeria, the price of cars would be cheap.
If cars were produced in Nigeria
here,
okay,
it means that the cost of getting a vehicle will not be so high.
Okay. Yes.
So you and I could still be able to afford a car, for example.
Okay, even if subsidy
has been taken away.
It's taken away. Okay.
Something has been taken away. You are paying 100 naira to work before, now you are paying 300 naira. You can't even talk of buying a car, because buying one car is around 3 million, 4 million. But if you're manufacturing cars in Nigeria, a car could be sold for 500,000, and you could have saved to buy a car for yourself.
Okay, so what you're invariably saying is, if we had like a refinery, a working, functional refinery in Nigeria, and subsidy is removed, that would have cushioned.
So bringing it back to the argument of food.
Yes.
The price of things going up, largely because transport costs are on the rise. And why is transport costs on the rise? Because drivers will tell you that the road between where they're producing the stuff and where they're going to deliver it is not a good road. So they have to factor in all of that, so they have to add more and more. Like I said, this thing is purely man-made and can be man-solved if the willingness and determination is there to get it solved. But are we going to solve it? It doesn't look to me like we are willing and ready to roll up our sleeves, and pull ourselves by the bootstraps to get the job done. But the challenge really is about the fact that government has taken its hands off from the plow, but wouldn't create a cushion that would make us feel like they've taken us off the plow. This is an entirely available situation, but I even think that the data analysts at the Guardian are giving us a best case scenario. Because between now and December and January 31, believe me, this thing that they're talking about, can even go up to as much as 200,000 naira. And believe me, Henry, Nigerians are starving.
Very true.
Nigerians are now having to cut. They are cutting. They are starving. They are literally starving. They are starving. I was talking to a young lady last night. I said, she said she didn't eat 3 times yesterday. She ate only twice. The idea is making that try twice. Is it her choice, or is it that it was imposed on her by the environment she's finding herself in?
And not even that. How nourishing is the one?
Is a problem.
Whatever it is.
In the US,
it's just taken.
In the US, poor people die from obesity.
Too much.
The
food.
poor are die from obesity. You see those people you see on the dollar, they can eat everything, So how they would achieve that? In spite of their poverty. That's why I said there's no one solution to the problem. There are many things happening at the same time. If one thing is taken away, there's a cushion somewhere. Okay? So, but in our case, do we have that? I doubt it much.
Now, it's to add salt to injury. On one of the headlines here, it says Nigeria in darkness as national grid collapses again. This is happening too many times, and we're asking ourselves. I remember when it did happen during Buhari's administration, it was condemned, by everyone, including people in power. And right now, it is happening under Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What do you think is the problem?
I think the Minister of Power is the wrong fit for that position.
Okay.
He doesn't look to me like somebody who has a grasp of what the ministry has been given, or the center has been given. I say that with all sense of responsibility. The other issue at hand is that you see a lot of people who know better have chosen to keep quiet.
Okay.
They've chosen to be silent. This, like the economy, the power sector, market, Henry. If we're determined to provide stable, uninterrupted power in Nigeria from today until the second coming of Jesus Christ, we can do it from this very minute.
So what is halting it?
It's a man-made problem.
So when you talk about man-made problem, who do we cast the blames on?
The generator importers.
So if the generator importers are the reasons why we don't have constant power supply, why is Bola Ahmed Tinubu with administration not doing something about it?
There are government officials who take bribes from them to frustrate, disrupt, interrupt, frustrate government, from being able to do what it should be doing.
And the government sits now and is excited about it. Is that what you are trying to say?
They may not be excited, but you see, even as president or governor, there are some things you may. I don't endorse any of it, but there are certain things you had better just not bother to know anything about what's going on there. I can tell you that. Yes. You want to know, you need to know, you should, like I said, appointing the person as appointed as prime minister, I feel is an error. But to that extent, the president can be held, he is culpable, if you know what I mean. But then again, the point is, we're in government, okay, Henry, 126 Nigerians have been bombed in error in Kaduna. The president is visiting the north to pacify people and make them believe that this is not about a certain president trying to kill northerners. He now hears that the power grid has collapsed. You see, in all sincerity, that's where having the right men around you comes into play.
Right lieutenants around you.
But I can tell you that the president's priority right now would be how to solve the problem of people who have died.
Okay.
Than those who are saying that they don't have electricity to live with. I know. Even for me, I'm asking, should I be saying this? But government is a different ballgame entirely. People who are not in power play to the gallery. If anybody doesn't know that.
People who are not in power are playing to the gallery.
They play to the gallery. They come in the tug of opposition. They come in the tug of. In Buhari's time, the power grid collapsed in 1 year about 19 or 20 times or more. Okay? The Governor Fashola, who was power minister, when he was governor of Lagos, said that power can be stabilized in 6 months.
In 6 months,
it's not rocket science.
Yeah, he did say that.
He failed as a minister. Fashola failed shamefully, ignominiously. He failed irretrievably. He failed. What did his own head roll for failing? He did not. To tell them earlier, but I can tell you there are Nigerian scientists, Nigerian technologists who can give us a solution to the problem. They don't go after those people. The president may mean well,
Okay.
but it will require the minister to identify those who can do the job and recommend to the president. Look at what the man is doing at Minister of Works.
Doing an awesome
He's
job.
on the front.
Yes.
He's on the front foot.
Because he truly does understand the issues and
He's on
how
the front
to deal
foot.
with them.
That's the president cannot oversee everything happening. That's the fact. To be fair to the man, that's the fact. But did he do the right thing by appointing the man he appointed as prime minister? Maybe not. So to that extent, he cannot be held. He can't be exculpated. Fact, yes. But the president cannot know and see and do everything. Why does he have a minister? These are the issues.
Very, very true. Now let's move straight to our next newspaper headline, and that is on The Punch. And the big story there says, River Crisis. PDP moves to replace 27 pro-Wike assembly defectors. And on the rider, it has aggrieved the legislators, no longer Rivers assembly members, declare seat vacant. PDP writes INEC. Defected lawmakers threaten to reject Governor Fubara's request. APC hails defection. And also on the top slip of the same newspaper, we have CBN cancels large depositors' fines amid Naira scarcity. Osimhen Oshoala win Africa Footballer of the Year awards. And on the downslip of the same newspaper, we have Tinubu condemns police station burning, tells army to protect our democracy. Power generation crashes to 43.5 megawatts as grid collapses again. So let's go to what seems to be the big story on the Punch newspaper, and that, of course, is what you are very conversant with, and that is on the River State crisis. PDP moves to replace 27 pro-Wike assembly defectors. How feasible is this?
So truly, what I think INEC Act or Electoral Act or what the law says, a defection that does not happen, that happens in light of internal wranglings, internal instability within a party, is welcome.
Okay.
Party,
Defection that happens as a result of internal wrangling in the party is accepted.
Yes, intra-party wrangling.
Okay.
Intra-party skirmishes, battles, leadership crisis, the party is about to be torn apart,
Okay.
You can leave that party and seek sanctuary, seek succor elsewhere.
Okay.
It's welcome.
So what is happening now is welcome.
No, but so the question is there wrangling within the party? Is the party hierarchy in a crisis?
Okay.
There's a known chairman of the party in Abuja. The PDP is not in any turmoil, even in Rivers State.
The PDP is currently not in a turmoil in Rivers State.
No.
Then why is party members defecting?
So they should answer that question. You see, the governor and Wike are not party officials.
Okay.
They are government. Even if it was a crisis between the House of Assembly and the governor, it's government.
Okay.
The party experts are not punching each other. They didn't burn the party secretariat down. The party is not in crisis.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So the lawmakers, why they leave the party? Where are they going?
Don't you think it's as a result of not seeing eye to eye with the governor? Don't you think that is the reason why they are defecting?
The governor is not a party official.
But the governor seems to be the chief executive officer of the party.
No, he is not. There is no way that is written in law. You see, even if the governor, of course, governor or president is the leader of any party.
Yes.
Yes. But the governor, I mean, there's no threat to, there's nothing cataclysmic happening in the party to warrant the defection of these lawmakers, as far as I see it. And I support the call by the PDP telling INEC to say, look, please declare that it's vacant. They should declare it vacant. There's no evidence of, look, like the party, there's no evidence of wrangling within the party. Okay, there are no, you know, when we talk of wrangling, there are two party chairmen. One is in court, one is not in court. You can't go to the party secretariat anymore. But the party has not gone comatose in River State.
Yes.
So what's the rule about? Recently, in the APC, you know, after President Tinubu became president, he eased out the party leadership at the center and brought in his own loyalists. All right, it happened peacefully. Is everybody in tune with what happened? No. Did anybody defect? No. And as far as I'm concerned, the APC was not in crisis. You know what party crisis is? There are two chairmen of the party. One secretariat is in Tudunwada, the other secretariat is in Sokoto State. Okay. And some people are for the other one. And people are now in a mix. They don't know who to, you know, really for a hair. So it's okay to avoid this blindness. So you know they can flee as it were. But I can tell you today that there was no, as far as I see. So INEC should declare those seats vacant. Let them go for fresh by-elections. That's where I stand on the matter.
Well, how that is possible, we would live to see that happen if it would ever happen. But let's move straight to a Vanguard newspaper for this morning. And the big story says bank ration cash as naira scarcity intensifies. On the rider, POS operators hike transaction fees, CBN suspend charges on large cash deposits. And just like we had on all the newspapers, River defection, PDP LP kick as APC welcomes 27 lawmakers. North mustn't present PDP candidate in 2027, Bode Georgia. And on the downsleep of the newspaper, we have insecurity. I won't lose battle to keep Nigeria secure, Tinubu. Now let's go to the big story here. We are short of time, but I would love us to just make this a bit brief. Bank ration cash as naira scarcity intensifies.
Like I always say.
Don't you think this is most definitely might suffocate the economy?
Like I said on all the other stories, this too is purely man-made.
Okay. To what effect? I understand it's man-made. We understand the issues we have in our country are all man-made. But to what effect? That is the question.
Why is the CBN quiet about what's going on?
But why do you think they are having it in the first place?
Honestly, exactly. I can tell you that it's been created, but the why, I honestly don't know, because I'm not in the mind of the CBN, and I can't read their mind. But somebody ought not only to explain what's going on, but to pay for it. There must be penalties for this kind of action. Nigerians will be starving. We're not at war. There's no crisis in the land. Somebody just goes to voice the problem. They printed more bills recently, and now everything is scarce. A government official was going to withdraw 100-something million naira and got robbed. Supposedly purportedly robbed on a bridge close to the governor's office. And we should believe in these things. How in the world is naira scarce? Where has it gone to? Nobody knows. You see, all of this also have security implications. As far as I'm concerned, the CBN must explain to us what is really the problem. Until they've done that, we have no business having the naira to be scarce. Listen, the scarcity of the dollar, it appears the naira has followed it. Because you need one to get the other, don't you? You need naira to purchase the dollar, you need the dollar to purchase the naira. So the dollar scarcity, the prolonged scarcity of the dollar seems to have drawn the naira out of circulation also. And by the way, counterfeit naira
it's beginning to emerge.
Yeah. On Friday, the CBN said, beware Nigerians, counterfeit naira is in circulation. And I was talking to myself, is that your work as CBN to tell us that counterfeit naira is in circulation? If for as long as you have refused to put the original current circulation, you make
people
the
would always find a way.
Yeah. So the CBN should be held accountable for making the naira scarce, and for those who are counterfeiting, somebody else will punish for it.
But I learned that it's actually a monetary policy of tightening the liquidity, tightening the number of money in circulation, such that they can have a direct control of it, because they feel if there's so much money outside there, it would.
Has the CBN communicated that? Have they communicated that to Nigerians? So the issue of guesswork for me does not come in, because I know what the Nigerian government always does, that they take privilege for power, they take liberty for license. Even if you want to implement a policy, but I mean, why now of all times? Why now during the Christmas period? So I honestly don't buy into it. Make the naira. We are working for the naira, by the way. You know, make it available, make it accessible. Let Nigerians earn and be able to spend, because expenditure is actually a sign of growth actually for any economy. The more we're able to spend, the more it shows that we are, that we're earning well and that we are growing as an economy. So they should release the naira, let us spend it. It's our money.
They should release the naira, let us spend it, because it is our money. Thank you, Mr. Cyril Abaku, for always coming around and being part of our enterprise morning. That's just about the time we have on our newspaper headlines. When we return, Nigerians must take to the Mbiri bombing that killed 126 civilians as tragic event designed by God. That's according to President Bola Tinubu. We'll talk more about that in a jiffy. Please don't go anywhere.
Enterprise TV, your one-stop shop for news, programs, human angle stories, the economy, sports, and much more. We go the extra mile to bring incredible details to you. So hop on the train now. Enterprise TV, a tradition of